शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्री राधा कृष्ण पदा सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नम ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So welcome back to the teachings of Lord Chaitanya to Sanatana Goswami, Sanatana Shiksha series, which we just began a few weeks back. Today is the fifth session. In the first two sessions, we practically discussed the life of Srila Sanatana Goswami. And then we began with the verse by verse discussion of Sanatana Shiksha, which begins from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 20. So we saw some themes in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, how Sanatana Goswami escapes from the prison, and how it represents the conditioned soul escape from this material world prison, and what are the lessons we learn from it. And his travel to Patada and Hajipur, meeting Shrikant, and then his further travel and ultimately arising at Varanasi, and standing at the house of Chandrasekhar. Mahaprabhu calls him, embraces him with a lot of love and deep affection. And then step by step, we saw how Sanatana Goswami relinquishes everything of the material. He shows the pinnacle of renunciation. And Mahaprabhu is very, very pleased by his behavior. So this is where our discussion has been going on. And at last, when Sanatana Goswami, decides to do Madhukari, Mahaprabhu is Anandita Hoila. He was very happy. And now that, he was always having an eye on that woolen blanket which was given by Srikant. And Sanatan Goswami understood it. And immediately he traded that to a stone quilt. And then Mahaprabhu asked him, Sanatan Goswami narrated everything. Bhala Kaila, he did very well. For somebody to beg at the same time wear very opulent clothing is not suiting. People will make jokes. And it is not a not befitting bhikshuk to have to wear very costly woolen garments. So this is all happening because of Mahaprabhu's mercy again, and ultimately Sanatan Goswami is the eternal associate of the Lord from the spiritual world. So this is last where we discussed Gosai kahe ek khandila ku vishay bhog tandra ichhay gela mora shesha vishay rog. Sanatan Goswami replied, after this pastime of the woolen blanket, the Supreme Personality has saved me from the sinful life of material existence, ku vishaya bhog, sense gratification. Now, how this is sense gratification? The woolen blanket, how can it be sense gratification? Can anyone throw some light on it? How woolen blanket can be sense gratification? Any verse from the Gita you can reflect to connect that? How woolen blanket is sense gratification? Anyone? Yes, Maya Narasimha Prabhuji. Yes.
Prabhuji, is it matra sparshastu kaunteya?
Yes, matra sparshastu kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkada agama payino nitya stam titikshvasya bharata. So the dualities of heat and cold affect the body. When it is warm, you would like to take a cold water bath because it is good for your sense gratification. And when it is cold, you would like to take a warm water bath because again it is suiting your sense gratification. So both the considerations are based on sense gratification. So these are the sense gratification on the bodily platform. You have to transcend these dualities. Then sukha dukkha, the dualities which affect the mind. Sukha and dukkha affect the mind. And then in the 6th chapter, Krishna will say, man and apaman, which affect the ego. So as long as one is caught up in these dualities, one cannot understand transcendental subjects. One cannot understand transcendental subjects. So his last, shesh, last piece of material attraction is now gone. So that's how progressively Sanatan Goswami showed this. And later on in Mahaprabhu's teachings, Raghunath Das Goswami personifies the extreme pinnacle of renunciation, which is to be emulated by the renounced order of the life. How he was so much different levels are there. Anyway, we'll not go into that discussion, but just to make a point. Initially, he used to call Mahaprabhu, to feed him prasad. The money was coming from his parents, but then he understood it's not proper. And then he gave up that. Mahaprabhu was happy. And then, to go and always have the remnants of the Lord is not good. Let me do Viksha, Madhukari. So he used to stand in front of Simhadwar and beg. But then also he felt that this is prostitution. So then he gave up that also. And then ultimately what was left, refuse, which even the cows would not touch. That grains he used to pick up and wash them and have them. Nobody can imitate this. So like that, his in the beginning of joining Mahaprabhu's movement, Sanatan Goswami is also exhibiting these deep renunciation from anything material. So my last piece of material attraction is now gone. Tandra ichhai gela mora shesh vishaya ro. So now the next section begins, which we are going to take up today. Sanatana Goswami inquires from Lord Chaitanya. Now, what is the connection between uh, this section and the previous section? Is Sanatana Goswami's inquiries are now fully potent, and he is now fully, his heart is ready to bring the instructions of Mahaprabhu deep to the core of his heart and live by it. So because our heart is filled with material desires, that's why we still have attraction to this material world. That's why our inquiries are also not sometimes fully potent. And although we hear the instructions don't take a deep seat in our heart because still there is attraction towards Maya. But when this was completely taken away, Gela Mora Shesh Vishay Rog, then he became qualified now to inquire from Lord Chaitanya. And now Sanatana Goswami exhibits his humility. So let us see these verses. Prasannahana Prabhu Tandra Kripa Kala. Tandra Kripaya Prashna Karite Tandra Shakti Haila. Being pleased with Sanatana Goswami, Prasannahan Prabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bestowed his costless mercy upon him. Prabhu Tandra Kripa Kaila. By the Lord's mercy, Tandra Kripa, Sanatana Goswami received the spiritual strength. Prashna Karite Tandra Shakti Haila, to inquire from him. So the spiritual strength comes from the deepest core of the heart when the heart is filled with renunciation. And only that kind of spiritual inquiry is the heart potent to take the instructions and live by the instructions and preach those instructions. And Sanatana Goswami is going to exhibit his humility. We know the famous verse of Shishashram, Trunadapi Suni Chaina Saroriva Sarishnanam, Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. So there are these four things. Trunadapi Suni Chaina, to be humbler than more humbler than a blade of grass. Tarorapi Sahishnanam, to be more tolerant than a tree. Amanina, to always give respect to others. Manadina, and to never expect respect or honor for oneself. Only in such a state of mind one can chant the holy names, or in such state of mind can one make spiritual inquiries. So that is the spiritual strength Sanatana Goswami had. It is said that a tiger's milk can be only held in a golden pot, not in any other pot, because it is so potent that the pot will break. So there will be holes. So similarly, when the heart is golden with these divine qualities, then the instructions will hold in the heart. So that's why he had now the spiritual strength to inquire from the Lord. Urvaya Roy Pashe Prabhu Prashna Kaila, Thandra Shakte Ramananda Tanda Uttar Dila, Ihan Prabhu Shakte Prashna Kare Sanatan, Apane Mahaprabhu Kare Tattva Nirupan. Formally, Urve, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had asked Ramanand Rai spiritual questions. Purva Ache Rai Pashe Prabhu Prashna Kaila. Mahaprabhu did questioning to Rai Ramanand. And by the Lord's causeless mercy, Tandra Shakte, by Lord's mercy only, Ramanand Rai could properly reply. Ramanand Tandra Uttarle. So Ramanand Rai replied, it is because of Lord's mercy only. Ihan Prabhura, now by the Lord's mercy, Shakte Prashna Kare Sanatan. Sanatan Goswami questioned the Lord. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally supplied the truth. Apane Mahaprabhu Kare Tattva Nirupan. So previously the speaker was Ramanand Rai, the questioner was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Ramanand Rai replied because of Mahaprabhu's mercy and blessings. Now Mahaprabhu gave the mercy and blessings to Sanatana Goswami, and Sanatana Goswami is inquiring, and Mahaprabhu is now replying. That's it. It is just an exchange of rasa. That's it. Krishna Swarupa Madhuraishwarya Bhakti Rasashrayam Tattvam Sanatanaesha Kripayapade Kripayapade Kripayapadi Desha Saha. So what kind of truths Mahaprabhu spoke? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of God, had personally told Sanatana Goswami about Lord Krishna's identity, Krishna Swarup. He also told him about the Lord's conjugal love, Madhurya, his personal opulence, Aishwarya, and the mellows of devotional service, Bhakti Ras. All these truths were explained to Sanatana Goswami. Tattvam Sanatana Ayesha, by the Lord himself out of his causeless Kripaya Upapadi Desha Saha means the Lord. So which are the four things which Mahaprabhu taught to Sanatana Goswami? Let us see who will remember. How quickly you could catch, how attentive we are here. Let us come to know who will answer. Who will answer? Which are the four truths which Mahaprabhu taught? Who will answer? Raise your hands. Yes. Virendra Yadav Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Prabhu. I have the book so I can answer easily.
No, then no. I wanted to see, just we spoke the words, how quickly could catch it. That's what I want to know. Who will answer? It's very difficult to be attentive, especially online. That's why I usually keep it a little interactive. A lot of question answers. So who will answer? Not even one. Okay, Girish. Let's try. Girish is going to try. Yes, Girish, tell me.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Trunadapi Sunichena Tarorupi.
No. What did Mahaprabhu teach to Sanatana Goswami? What are the different truths he taught? Those four things were the quality of humility one should possess so that he has the strength to inquire. But in the next verse, what we discussed was these were the truths Mahaprabhu Tattva Mahaprabhu taught to Sanatana Goswami. What are the four things he taught to Sanatana Goswami?
Okay, sorry.
No problem. Partha, yes. Do you have the book?
No, I don't have the book. I remember one.
Right. Yes.
He talked of Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Krishna Swarup. Krishna's identity.
Yeah.
Krishna Swarup. Correct.
Yeah, I remember only one, Prabhuji.
That Krishna Swarup. That's Krishna Swarup.
Oh.
Any other? Anyone else?
No, I didn't catch it. Okay.
Yes. Maya Narasimha Prabhuji, do you have the book with you?
I don't have a book, bro. What book? I don't have.
Okay, then try.
I remember you were saying beginning with Krishna's opulence and his position as the Supreme Lord, and after that I could not recollect now.
Yeah, see how difficult it is to concentrate. Okay. I'll repeat. Krishna Swarup Madhuraishwarya Bhakti Rasashrayam Tattvam Sanatanesha Kripaya Padesha Saha. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, personally told Sanatana Goswami about Lord Krishna's identity, Krishna Swarup. He also told him about the Lord's conjugal love, Madhurya, his personal opulence, Aishwarya, and the mellows of devotional service, Bhakti Ras. All these truths were explained to Sanatana Goswami by the Lord himself out of his causeless. Let's see. Tattvam Sanatana Eshaha Kripa Upadesha Saha. So now, which are the 4 things? Who will be able to tell the 4 things which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught to Sanatana Goswami? We are learning Sanatana Shiksha. What about others? Are they there online? Or Radha Jivan Prabhu? Yes. What are the 4 things Mahaprabhu taught to Sanatana Goswami? Krishna consciousness is so subtle that you can miss it very easily. It's so simple sometimes that you can miss. Yes, Maya Narsim Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, it is Krishna's Swarup and Madhurya Rasa and Krishna's Aishwarya and Bhakti, means mellows of devotional service.
Ras, 4 things. So this
Yes.
is what constitutes Sanatana Shiksha. That's why I was emphasizing here. Krishna Sarup, Lord Krishna's real identity. This is going to be very, very long discussion in Sanatana Shiksha. And we start understanding this Tattva. My goodness, this is too much, you'll feel. But you have to understand Krishna Tattva, Krishna's identity. Who is real Krishna? Because Sanatana Goswami is our Sambandha Acharya. So as long as we don't philosophically understand Krishna Swarup, Krishna Tattva, then to become attached to Krishna is difficult. And as long as Sambandha is not firmly grounded, then we cannot practice Abhidaya. And if Abhidaya is not done properly, then we don't get Prayojan also. Sambandh comes first. Without a strong Sambandh, you cannot achieve Prayojan, nor you can practice Abhidaya. So this is going to be a long discussion in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which will come up. It's going to be quite philosophical, There is, Swayam Bhagavan, then there is Tadekatma, then there is Vibha, Vilas, Vibhav Prakash, Vilas Prakash, all these different categories, technical discussions, very, very philosophical discussions is there. So we will be going elaborately into this discussion of Krishna Sarup in Sanatana Shiksha. Madhurya, we will not be touching at all. We'll just not be touching at all. Wherever it is there in the Sanatana Shiksha, those particular sections we will skip. Aishwarya, we will be touching, because the more we understand the opulence of the Lord, the more we'll become attached. And there's an entire chapter, certain portion, which is dedicated to discussing the Aishwarya of the Lord. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, we will be going more elaborate in this. So this is all what constitutes Sanatana Siksha. So now I hope everyone is clear here today what exactly are the teachings of Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami. What are the 4 things? Now who will tell? Raise your hands. Those who have already raised their hands, they can keep their hands low. I would like to hear from others, because we are trying to study Sanatana Shiksha and we should know what we are going to study. Yes, Rajiv Jivan Prabhu. Yes.
Prabhu. Prabhu Krishna Swarupa, Madhurya, Aishwarya, and Bhakti.
Bhakti Ras.
Bhakti Ras.
Krishna's identity, Krishna Swarup, Madhurya, conjugal love, Aishwarya, Krishna's opulence, Bhakti Ras, mellows of devotional service. Okay, excellent. Hemant Kumar, yes. What are the 4 things in Sanatana Shiksha?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavata Pranam. So we will learn about the real identity of the Lord, then
Krishna Swarup,
Krishna Sarup, then Madhurya Ras,
conjugal
then
love,
Aishwarya of the Lord, and then the
opulence of the Lord,
mellows of the devotional service.
Bhakti Ras. Yes,
Bhakti
good,
Ras.
good, good. Anyone else? I want everyone in this group to answer this, because if we don't know this, then there is no point in attending Sanatan Shiksha. Anyone else? What about others? They're here, present or no? Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yes.
Bhakti Ras, Madhurya, Aishwarya.
No, go chronologically, as it is there in the verse.
Krishna
First thing.
Swarup,
Yes.
Madhurya, Aishwarya, Bhakti Ras.
Yes. Excellent. Excellent. Anyone else? Anyone else? What about others? Girish, yes. I think now you're clear about. Yes.
Krishna Swarupa, Krishna Swarupa, Madhurya Ras, Aishwarya, and fourth is
Bhakti Ras.
Bhakti Ras.
Yes. So please note down this: Krishna Swarup, Lord Krishna's real identity; Madhurya, Lord's conjugal love; Aishwarya, his personal opulence; Bhakti Ras, the mellows of devotional
Service.
Okay. So please note this, very important. We are studying Sanatan Shiksha. Take it very seriously, because Sanatan Shiksha is very, very, very important. In fact, Prabhupada, in one of his lectures, he says that Sanatan Goswami is our Sambandhacharya. And one of his most important works is the Brihad Bhagavatamrit. And based on the work of Sanatan Goswami, Brihad Bhagavatamrit, all the acharyas, including Rupa Goswami, Raghunath Goswami, our Abhidha and Prayojana acharyas, have built the entire Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. So much important is Brihad Bhagavatamrit, because Brihad Bhagavatamrit is so nectarian, and it makes us deeply attached to Krishna by reading Brihad Bhagavatamrit. And with that, our sambandh gets deeply fixed with Krishna, and then we can practice Abhidaya and get a prayojan. So Brihad Bhagavatamrit is the foundational scripture for Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So these Sanatan Shiksha is the foundational teaching of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatan Goswami. So how much it is important that we understand it very thoroughly. That's why I'm emphasizing on it. So these four things you should remember, and we will be going into detail: Krishna Sarup, Aishwarya, and Bhakti Ras, and not the Madhurya. It's not required for us now. Tabe Sanatan Prabhu Charana Dharya, Dhainya Vinati Kare Dhanta Nalan, a straw in his mouth and bowing down. So only when the heart is filled with deep renunciation, with these four qualities I was mentioning, Trinada Pisuni Chena Taro Rivasvaishna Mamani Namana Dena Kirtaniya Sadahari. This is the stage which is the stage of Nishta, when one is a self-realized soul. In fact, when one realizes, or one who can see within himself, when he becomes self-realized, he can realize his self. That means he can see the self. He can also see his own conditioning and his own life, how sinful life he has led. And then he cries out, Amara Jivan Sada Papera Nahi Koi Punyalish. So such a soul who is situated on this transcendental platform, he has undergone Anarth Nivriti. What is Anarth Nivriti? We have to understand. Anarth Nivriti means one doesn't find at all any fault in others, but he only sees fault within himself. He can only see his own faults, what he has done in his own life, what kind of sins he has committed in his own life, and he's always crying for the mercy of the Lord. And this is Dainya Bhav. This is called as Dainya Bhav. So this Dainya Bhav, when it comes, then you are actually humble at heart. And then you have developed that renunciation. And with that Dainya Bhav, when you make inquiry, then the inquiry is potent. It is filled with spiritual strength. And the instructions also are deeply imbibed in the heart. So this Dainya Vinati, that Dainya Bhav is come now in Sanatana Goswami, and that's why with that Dainya Bhav he is asking. Sanatan clasped the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Prabhu, Charana Dhariya, and humbly spoke as follows. Tabe Sanatan Prabhu Charan Dhariya, Dainya Vinati Kariye. Vinati. Vinay means to have this divine quality. Vidya Vinay Sampanya, Brahmani Gavihastini, Suni Cheva Supake Cha, Pandita Samadarshana. Vinayata. To be humble, humble in speech, humble in mind, because the soul is humble. Why the soul is humble? Because he has realized that he is a spirit soul. So this is the humility Sanatana Goswami had developed. Nicha jati, nicha sangi, patitadam, u vishaya kupe padi, bhuvaino janam. So he is seeing fault in himself. He's not seeing fault in others. He's saying, Sanatana Goswami said, I am born in a low family, nicha jati, nicha sangi. My associates are all low class men. I myself am fallen and am the lowest of men. Patita Adam. Indeed, I have passed my whole life fallen in the well of sinful materialism. Uvshaya kupe padi vainu janam. I have passed my life. Hari Hari vifale janma gavainu. Manusya janama paya. Radha Krishna na bhajiya. Janiya Shuniya Vishakhainu. This is Narottam Das Thakur saying. This is Dainya. These are prayers of humility. So he's seeing fault only in himself. He's not, saying that, I am born in an aristocratic family. Niche Jati. I am having association of a great king. He's saying Niche Sangi. And I'm Patita Adam. So now Prabhupada see how his purport is. Actually, Prabhupada says, Sri Sanatana Goswami belonged to a Brahmana family because he belonged to the Saraswat division of the Brahmanas and was well cultured and well educated. This is actually some or other he accepted the ministership in the Muslim government. Therefore, he had to associate with meat eaters, drunkards, and gross materialists. Some or other it's mentioned. In fact, they took up that service in order to see that the king doesn't trouble the Brahmanas so that they can do their religious activities. So that was for the higher purpose they sacrificed that. So that is some other. Sanatana Goswami considered himself fallen, for in the association of such men he also fell victim to material enjoyment. Having passed his life in that way, he considered that he had wasted his valuable time. This statement about how one can become fallen in this material world is made by the greatest authority in Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Sanatana Goswami is the greatest authority. Actually, the whole world is presently fallen in material existence. So Prabhupada is giving a very broad picture of all of us. This is our situation, which we don't accept it because we have not developed. I'm speaking about myself, not that Dainya Bhav. Everyone is a meat eater, drunkard, woman hunter, gambler, and what not. People are enjoying material life by committing the 4 basic sins. Although they are fallen, if they simply submit themselves at the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they will be saved from sinful reactions. So what a hope. Mahaprabhu is Patita Pavan. Apanare hita hita kichu na jani. Gramya Vyavare Pandita Taya Satyamani. I do not know what is beneficial for me or what is detrimental. Hita ahita. Nonetheless, in ordinary dealings, Gramya Vyavare, people consider me a scholar, Pandita. And I am also thinking of myself as such. Taya Satyamani. Kripa kari yadi more kariyache udar. Apana kripate kahe kartavyamar. out of your causeless mercy, Kripa Kari, you have delivered me from the material path. Now, by the same causeless mercy, Apana Kripate Kaha, please tell me what is my duty. Kaha Kartavyamar. Now, after exhibiting this humility, then Sanatana Goswami inquires. Now, what is the principle here Sanatana Goswami is exhibiting before making these inquiries? This mood of Dainiba, what principle it is? What principle is Sanatana Goswami exhibiting? The spiritual master. Yes, Parthsati Prabhuji.
तद्विधि प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेक्षान्ति ते ज्ञानं ज्ञानेन तत्त्वदर्शिनः.
Yes, yes. Somebody else had also raised hand. Birendra Yadav, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu. Same verse, Prabhu. Same verse.
Okay. Radha Jivan Prabhuji, you wanted to say something?
Oh, Hare Krishna, maybe Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Jaishana.
What principle? The principle is submissive inquiries. One should be very humble and submissive while making inquiries. This is one of the important principles in inquiry. One should not inquire in a challenging mood, but in a very humble and submissive mood. Tad vidhi pranipatena. That's why you should fall at the feet, do service, and then only ask. Otherwise, inquiries, if you don't do service and if you're not humble, then the inquiries will not be effective. You will not get the answers. So this is what Sanatana Goswami is exhibiting, this important principle. Now Sanatana Goswami inquires from Lord Chaitanya. This is second part, 102 and 103, Sanatana Goswami's questions. So question 1 and 2 is, who am I and why do I suffer? Question 3 and 4 is, what is sadhana and what is sadhya? So these are the 4 principal essential questions Sanatana Goswami is going to ask, and Mahaprabhu is going to discuss elaborately. From here on, Sanatana Siksha will begin, and as I had mentioned, we'll do a comparative study of Dashamula Tattva. So today we will also touch upon Dashamula Tattva because it is important for us. So let us first Sanatana Goswami. Iyami kene amaya jare tapatroya ihana hijani kemene hita hoya. Who am I? Kiyami. Who am I? Why do the threefold miseries always give me trouble? Amaya jare tapatraya. Keno amaya jare tapatraya. Why these threefold miseries give me trouble? So these are the 2 questions Sanatana Goswami has. Iha na jani. If I do not know this, how can I be benefited? Kemana hita hoy. Now, Prabhupada, this purport is very, very profound, at same time very simple. So let us see that. The threefold miseries, material miseries, are miseries arising from the body and the mind, miseries arising from dealing with other living entities, and miseries arising from natural disturbances. Adhyatmika klesha, adi bhautika klesha, adi daivika klesha. Now, Prabhupada says, interesting. Sometimes we suffer bodily when we are attacked by fever. And sometimes we suffer mentally when a close relative dies. Other living entities also cause us misery. So in Adhyatmik Klesh, there is the body and the mind. Prabhupada saying sometimes we suffer because of body, sometimes because of there is mental agony. And there is other living entities which give misery. This is Adi Bhautika Klesh. Now he speaks about the 4 types of living entities born. There are living entities born of the human embryo, of eggs, respiration, and vegetation. So these are the 4 ways. Andaja, Jalaja, Miserable conditions brought about by natural catastrophes are controlled by the higher demigods. This is Adi Devika Klesh. They may be severe cold or thunderbolts, or a person may be haunted by ghosts. So Prabhupada is giving some hint. Too much cold, thunderbolts, war going on, haunted by ghosts. I just happened to arrive in one city here today afternoon. I took my prasad, I was just taking rest. I was speaking to one devotee, and he told me, I asked, how is the family? He told my wife has been haunted by ghosts since 15 years now. And so much trouble because of it. He's been trying so many things and nothing is working. What a misery it is, So these are Adi Daivika Klesh. Prabhupada is giving some hint about it. These threefold miseries are always before us. Mark this point. Sometimes we are either suffering because of Adhyatmika or Adi Bhautika or Adi Devika. But it is always there. All three are there simultaneously. Sometimes one is there. Sometimes the other is more prominent. All the time it is there. But we are so deeply conditioned in trying to enjoy this material world that consciousness doesn't awaken that I'm suffering in this material world. And they entrap us in a dangerous situation. Padam padam yad vipadam. There is danger at every step of life. So this is how Prabhupada explains. Now further Sanatana Goswami inquires. साध्य साधना तत्व पूछिते न जानी कृपा करे सब तत्व कहता पानी. Actually, I do not know how to inquire about the goal of life and the process for obtaining. The goal of life is sadhya. It is called as the ends, and sadhana is the means. So means and ends, sadhya and sadhana. And the process of obtaining, being merciful upon me, kripa kari, please explain all these truths. Sab tattva kahata apani. Now, after Sanatana Goswami inquires, these are the four again essential questions. Now, who will reply or answer which are the four questions asked by Sanatana Goswami? Raise your hands. Okay, I think others, either they are not here online, they don't want to speak. So till now, those who have not participated, I will ask. Tirthpad Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
Yes.
Actually, I joined in between Prabhu.
Yeah, but you heard this session, I know. From where you joined, I know, I remember. But we discussed this and you are not attentive?
Yes, Prabhu. Who am I? Then what are the miseries?
Yes.
Why miseries give me trouble?
Correct. Two questions. Then
And then how can I be benefit? If I do not know, then I cannot be benefit.
no. They don't constitute
Then
questions.
goal of life.
Sadhya
and the process of obtaining the goal of life.
Sadhana.
Yes.
Okay. Kiyami, who am I? Ki tapatraya. Why these threefold miseries are always inflicting me? Sadhya and sadhana tattva. What is the goal of life and what is the means to attain it? These four questions are very, very important for us to know. So who else will answer? What are the four essential questions of Sanatana Goswami to Mahaprabhu? Nadia Chaitanya Prabhu. Nadia Chaitanya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu Dandavat.
Yes. Are you there?
Yes, Prabhu, there only, Prabhu.
Are you there means are you here in the class?
Yes, Prabhu, I am hearing. I am hearing, Prabhu. I am hearing, Prabhu. Sanatana Goswami asked Mahaprabhu. First thing is who am I, and what is the goal of?
No. Go step by step. No. Go step by step. Kiyami first he asked. Who am I?
Prabhu.
And then
next
Your audio went away. What is the reason? Yeah. Yes, yes, you can speak.
Yes, bro.
Haribol.
Why? State.
What happened?
मेरे को state.
Haribol,
So,
are
Hare
you
Krishna,
here?
Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Actually, here, Prabhu, cyclone is actually here. Actually, that is the thing, Prabhu. That
Tapatra is there. Huh? That is the second question only. So how can you forget when already you are experiencing there? Why there is so much misery? Tapatraya. That is second question.
yes, Prabhu.
And then what are the other
And
two
third
questions?
one is what is the goal of
Sadhya. And
yes.
then fourth question.
And fourth one is sadhana.
What is the process? That is sadhana. Please always when you answer,
Yes.
try to remember the, like Krishna's Swarup, Krishna's identity, Madhurya, Krishna's conjugal love, Aishwarya, his opulence, and Bhakti Ras, mellows of devotional service. Ki Ami, who am I? Ki Ame Tapatraya, why do threefold miseries inflict me? Sadhya Sadhana Tattva, what is the goal of life and what is the means to achieve? So like that you have to systematically answer. Yes, Hemant Kumar, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji. So question asked by Sanatana Goswami was, who am I, and why am I suffering for three folds of miseries? Then what is the goal of life? That is sadhana, and how do I attain the goal of life? Is sadhya.
Excellent. Please take these teachings of Sanatana Shiksha very seriously because they are deeply impregnated. These are the foundational teachings of Mahaprabhu. And this is very, very important. Very important, I'm telling you. Because it is only Mahaprabhu who taught Sanatana Goswami 2 months. These teachings. Nowhere Mahaprabhu in his entire pastimes we see giving such vast discourses and having such vast discussion on the foundational Gaudiya Vaishnava theology anywhere else. There was discussion with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, but that was only for a week or so. There is that Ramanand Rai, which is the highest aspiration for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. But again, if our Sanatana Shiksha Foundation understanding is not clear, then no, that's way above our head. So this is very important for us. Radha Jivan Krishna Prabhuji, what are the 4 questions, Mahaprabhu?
Krishna Baba.
Yes.
So first question is, who am I?
Kiyami.
Yeah. Second question is, why threefold miseries giving me troubles?
Yes. Keno amaye jare tapatraye. Okay.
Third is sadhana.
No.
Sorry, sadhya.
Sadhya.
And fourth is sadhana.
Fourth is sadhana. See, this is very interesting. There is Sambandha Abhidaya Prayojan, right? Yes or no? Everyone is here with me. There is Sambandha Abhidaya Prayojan. So which comes first? Please hear my question very clearly. Which comes first? Sambandha Abhidaya Prayojan. These 3 things are there. Which comes first? Which you first get a glimpse and how you go through it. I hope my question is clear. Please think about it carefully. Based on what I corrected him, and based on the 3rd and 4th question, I'm putting a question to you all now. Yeah, Maya Narasimha Prabhu, let us see. I would like to see what Maya Narasimha Prabhu has to say. Yes.
Prabhuji, I guess it is Abhidhaya first comes. Through that, you will
Okay.
get Sambandha. Then, by seriously taking the Abhidhaya, you get Prayojan.
Okay. No. Virendra Yadav Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I think Prabhu, Sambandh is first.
No.
And
I'll give an example. It's a very mundane example. The Sambandha Abhidaya Prayojan, of course, we will discuss this concept in the coming classes. I will give one example and now then you answer. Now you have liking for cars, but when you see actually a Jaguar, you fall in love with it. I want the Jaguar, right? So now, I'm a businessman making 1 crore profit a year, but to buy a Jaguar, I should have a 10 crore company or a 15 crore company or a 20 crore company. So in the next 3-4 years, I have to earn so much so that I can buy a Jaguar car. So first is that attraction is there for Jaguar. Now we have developed a relationship with Jaguar. I want the Jaguar. And now for the next 2-3 years, I work to get the Jaguar car. And at last, when I have amassed that much wealth, I've taken a loan, I go to the showroom, I buy the Jaguar car. I get my goal. That is Prayojan. But what is the first thing you reached for? Now, who would like to answer? Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, first it is Prayojan, then Sambandh,
Yes.
and then Abhidaya.
Yes. First you go to Prayojan and come back to Sambandh, then Abhidaya, and again go to Prayojan. This is how it is. You first, thinking about the goal, Prayojan, and then the relationship is there, then the Abhidaya is there, and then there is Prayojan. Just to give another example, in this world, there is attraction between a boy and a girl. The moment the boy sees a girl, he falls in love. There is Prayojan first. And now he has developed attraction towards this. He wants to develop a relationship with her. And then how to do it? He has to work a process. Ultimately, he works out the process, gets married, then he attains the Prayojan, he thinks. So Sambandha Abhidaya Prayojan. So this is a very universal principle. Everywhere it works. Anything in this world you see, it goes through these three things, Sambandha Abhidaya Prayojan. But first, you are given a glimpse of the Prayojan, what the Prayojan will be. And attracted by that Prayojan, then the Sambandha is established, Abhidaya is then, and then Prayojan. Even please think about it very, very carefully in your own life. First, you developed actually love of Godhead. You fell in love with Krishna when you came in touch with Krishna consciousness. Your initial days, at least the first few days, it was like you attained the goal. Oh wow, Krishna consciousness is so wonderful. So just a glimpse of the Prayojan was given, and then you started developing Sambandha Gyan by hearing Bhagavad Gita, philosophical question discussions, and then you started practicing the Abhidhaya. Then now that Prayojan you have reached, means you have given a touch of the Prayojan, and now you're working for it, and you're seeing that Anarth Nivritti is not happening after so many years to attain that Prayojan. So that's how it goes. I hope it is clear. Any questions regarding this? Some of this came up while I was asking about the 4 questions. Any questions? Any clarifications? Yes, Maya Narsim Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, your point is very true in the context of the people like us, like for me at least. But when we are talking in the context of like in the context of Sanatana Goswami and other people, those who some people just don't have any idea of Prayojan at all, because I know Jaguar, that's why I desire for it. But when there is no idea at all for me what is good for me or what is perfect for me. So how I will aspire for that?
What's your question? But I'm not getting exactly what you're trying to say.
The question is that you said prayojan comes in the beginning.
No, first you're given a, a glimpse of the prayojan. See, you have attraction for so many things in this world, and that attraction itself is love. In one sense. It's not that you're not given some idea. You have some idea that if I marry her, then my life will be very happy and nice, and all this ideas you come across, and you're attracted to that whole version, prem. And then based on that you start developing someone, and then you start working on it, go through the whole process, and then you actually attain it. Then you actually get the goal, prayojan. So similarly, you mean to say that we don't have idea about Krishna, so how we can reach the goal and then go through Sambandha Abhidheya Prayojan? That's what you're trying to say?
Yes, Prabhu, because we don't have any clue about what is Krishna.
Yes. So here there are two things. One is Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem, Kabu Sadhyanai, Shravanadi Shuddha Chitta Korayodaya. The innate propensity to love, the Jiva's propensity is there. That is the natural propensity of the soul to love the Supreme Soul, because the soul is part of the Supreme Soul. This is first thing. Now that love, prema, is there for prema for many things in this world, which is Indra Trupti. That's it. It's the same thing. It's Indra Trupti. So that has to be just, redirected to the reality, not to the illusion. That's it. That's it. So, how did Rukmini, without seeing Krishna, fall in love with Krishna just by hearing? How is it possible? It is possible. You can meet someone who's coming from some other country. You have not seen that country, and just by hearing from him, you can develop attraction to go to that country. Yes.
No, if hearing is
when it is materially possible, then why it is spiritually not possible when it is the natural propensity of the soul?
Yes, but when we hear, that is already Abhidheya. When we hear about Krishna, then you develop means you're already in the process of Abhidheya.
No, it's not, it's still Sambandha. When you're hearing, it is still Sambandha. When you act on what you have heard, then you go to Abhidheya.
Okay, Prabhu.
Got it?
Right, Prabhu. Fine. Hare Krishna.
There was another hand which was raised. Anyone else has any questions with respect to this? So, the 4 qualities of humility, the 4 topics of Sanatan Shiksha, the 4 questions of Sanatan Goswami to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. These are the things we should know. So, I hope everyone here knows the 4 questions. Among the Matajis, who would like to answer? Which are the 4 questions? Krishna Priya Mataji, you would like to answer? Which are the 4 questions of Sanatan Goswami to Mahaprabhu? Who else is there? Everyone has answered. Reena Mataji, you would like to answer? Okay, they are not there, I think. Okay, fine. So let's go now to the next verse. Birendra Yadav Prabhu has raised his hand. Yes, Prabhuji? Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Prabhu, just clarification. So we can say that first 2 questions, it is Sambandh, and 3rd question is Prayojan, and 4th question is Abhidheya. That's right, Prabhu?
Oh, excellent. Yes. Yeah. You can analyze it like that. So the 3rd is Sadhya, and Sadhana is, yes. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Now, after Sanatan Goswami asked these questions, Sanatan Goswami inquires from Lord Chaitanya, still this 3rd part. Lord appreciates Sanatan, who knows everything, and you are fit. You know everything, and you are fit to propagate bhakti. Now, again, it is a very important principle And we see this repeatedly happening in the Bhagavatam also. When the sages of Naimisharanya make humble submissive inquiries to Sut Goswami, Sut Goswami first offers his respectful obeisances to his spiritual master Sukdev Goswami. Yasva Anubhavam and Yam Pravarjantam, those two verses. And then he offers, Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam. This is a very famous prayer which we also recite during the Bhagavatam. And then Munyo Sadho Prashtoham Bhavadbir Lokamangalam Yad Krishna Samparshno Yenatma Suprasiditi. So to glorify or to have gratitude, oh, you're asking questions of Krishna, so glorious. And to remember the acharyas coming in the Guru Shish Parampara, to remember them, and as they have spoken, to repeat them. So Mahaprabhu is just appreciating here Sanatana Goswami, and he's following that principle here. Prabhu kahe Krishna kripa tomate purna hoy, sab tattva jnana jana tomara nahi tapatroy. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Lord Krishna has bestowed his full mercy upon you, so that all these things are known to you. Krishna Kripa Toma Purna Hoy, Saba Tattva Jan. For you, the threefold misery certainly do not exist. Tomara Nahi Tapatray. Krishna Shakti Dhara Tumi Jana Tattva Bhav Jani Dhad Dradya Lagi Puche Sadhura Swabhav. Since you possess Lord Krishna's potency, Krishna Shakti Dhar Tumi, you certainly know these things. Jhana Tattva Bhav. You all know these things. However, it is the nature of a sadhu to inquire. Sadhu Raswabhav. Although he knows these things, Jani Dhardra. I don't know what this meaning is. The sadhu inquires for the state of strictness. Drid, I think Drid is in Bengali, like Lagi Puche Sadhu Raswabhav. Now, this is the verse Kaviraj Goswami quotes. Achiradeva sarvartah siddhyate sham abhipsitah sadharmasyava bodhaya yesham nirbandini mati. Those who are eager to awaken their spiritual consciousness and who thus have unflinching, undeviated intelligence certainly attain the desired goal of life very soon. Now, Prabhupada says this verse quoted from the Narada Puran is found in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu 1 to 103. So we are straight away going. Among the 64 limbs of Bhakti, the first 10 limbs are do's, and the next 10, that is 11 to 20, are don'ts. And these first 20 limbs are very important limbs, do's and don'ts, Prabhupada says. And even Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrit says. So the fifth limb is Sadharma Pricha, inquiry into Bhakti, which is there in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And the same verse is quoted here. Those whose minds are attached, Esham Nirbandini Mati. Mati means our consciousness or our mind or our intelligence. Nirbandini, without any break, complete attachment. To understanding Bhakti to the Lord, Sadharmasya Avabodhaya. Quickly attain achirad eva siddhyate, all their desired goals. Esham sarva abhipsita artha. That is again Krishna prem only. Yogya patra hoy tumi bhakti pravartayaka krame sab tattva shuno kahete tomata. You are fit to propagate the cult of devotional service. Yogya patra tumi bhakti pravartitat. Bhakti pravartikat. You are going to propagate bhakti all over the world. As Srila Prabhupada was Yogya Patra to propagate the Mahaprabhu's movement all over the world. Therefore, gradually hear all the truths about it from me. Rame sab tat suno. I shall tell you about them. Kahiya tomate. Now Mahaprabhu is going to speak, and he is going to speak the Dashamula Tattva. So now what I thought is I'll have to give an introduction to Dashamula Tattva, because without this introduction, then we'll be not able to see where Mahaprabhu is actually speaking this Dashamula Tattva in Sanatana Shiksha. So what I will be doing now is maybe in today's class, just introducing what is this Dashamula Tattva. And as Mahaprabhu is answering in Sanatana Shiksha, I will be asking you which among the 10 truths Mahaprabhu is speaking. And I will be parallelly quoting Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Especially Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written many works on the Dashamula Tattva. As I mentioned, he has written the Dashamula Tattva as a separate book. Then Dashamula Tattva, he has elaborated a lot in his article in Bhaktiyaloka when he discusses Nishchay. Utsaha, Nishchay, Dhairyatma. Among Nishchay, he discusses Dashamula Tattva. There is a reason for that. And then in Jaiva Dharma also, he has in many chapters discussed Dashamula Tattva. So this Dashamula Tattva is very important. And among these three, in Bhaktiyaloka, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has kept it quite simple. At the same time, he has quoted the Dashamula Tattva and parallelly mentioned where in Sanatana Shiksha you will find this. So like that, it becomes good for our Sanatana Shiksha teachings. That is teachings of Lord Chaitanya to Sanatana Goswami. It becomes very good for that understanding. So I am selecting from Bhaktiyaloka. So today we will have just an introduction to Dashamula Tattva. And Mahaprabhu is now going to answer. He is going to answer one of the truths from the Dashamula Tattva. And I'm going to give you an overview of the 10 truths. And you will have to, when we are discussing from Chaitanya Charitamrita, tell me which among the 10 truths Mahaprabhu is speaking now. Okay. So today we'll just start, and we have some few minutes. So we will start the Dashamula Tattva from Bhaktiyaloka. So these are the 6 qualities that enhance bhakti. Among them is Nishchay. Utsaha Nishchay Dhairya Tattat Karma Pravartanat Sangatyaga Chato Vritti Shadbir Bhaktir Prasiddhati. These are the 6 qualities. Kill the demon of doubt to gain confidence. Now this is directly Bhaktivinoda Thakur's article on Nishchay. I am going through it systematically so that because Bhaktivinoda Thakur is going to build the foundation for his introduction to Dashamula Tattva based on this topic of Nishchay. So that's why this background is important for us also to understand. So I'm just narrating as Bhaktivinoda Thakur is writing. In his Upadeshamrit, Srila Rupa Goswami has instructed the practitioners of devotional service to be confident. Until this confidence is achieved, one will remain doubtful. You have to have confidence of Krishna, that Krishna will protect me. Otherwise, if you have, what if Krishna doesn't protect me? That means you have doubt. Doubt is a sign of intelligence, but again, doubt is also like there are brakes. So until the doubts are cleared, then we cannot move ahead. So one will remain doubtful. Doubtful persons never have auspiciousness. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is very heavy here. How then will they have faith in unalloyed devotional service when they are doubtful at heart? Now, faith belongs to the soul. Doubt is related to what? Anyone? Faith has to do with the soul. Where is doubt? Yes. Radha Jivan Prabhuji?
If I'm not mistaken, mind?
No. Virendra Yadav Prabhuji?
Prabhu, guessing just could be intelligence.
Intelligence. Doubt is a sign of intelligence. I already had answered it. So after the intelligence is the soul. So it means that intelligence purification has to happen. That's why Prabhupada said doubt is a sign of intelligence, and doubt is also like a demon. It's both ways. So you have to clear your doubts. You have to be sincere and humble and express your doubts very sincerely, whatever you have, and don't keep on building it in your mind. Then they will act as brakes. So there is faith of the soul, and then there is doubt of the intelligence. That's what does it mean. It is said in the Bhagavad Gita, Agyasya cha shaddanasya samshayatma vinashati nayam lokostina paro na sukham samshayatmana. The person ignorant of scripture, agya, or one who knows scripture but has no faith in it, ashraddhadanasya, or one who is doubtful of attaining the goal even with faith, samshayatma. Krishna, will take, he is a very advanced devotee, Mahabhagavat, but he will not consider me. I am a very, like that, samshayatma, perishes, vanashati. One who is afflicted with doubt, samshayatmana, attains nothing in this life, nayam lokostina, nothing in the next, na paro, and no happiness, na sukam. So this is the Vishwanath Chakra Thakur's translation of the Gita. I took because it's quite elaborately explaining this. One who has faith is certainly without doubts. So one who has faith has no doubts, because the word faith means firm conviction. Shraddha shabde sudrida nishchay. As long as doubts are there, firm conviction cannot remain in heart. As long as doubts are there is no firm conviction in the heart. Therefore, faithful living entities are always doubtless. They don't doubt. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has ordered all Vaishnavas to first understand these three truths, Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojan, which is there in Sanatana Shiksha. There are 10 principal subjects in these three truths. So I hope devotees now have the understanding of the concept of Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojan. How many of you have somehow come across these? I'd also discussed in other forums also the concept of Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojan. Or should we discuss it? It's very important, because otherwise, if you don't get this, then it is very difficult. One. In our Bhakti Shastri classes also we had discussed the foundational philosophical Vaishnava important principles and concepts. There we have discussed this. So Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojan, we will touch upon it maybe in the next class. So there are 10 principal subjects in these three truths. In these three truths, there are 10 principal subjects. So let us see what are they. The Vedas are the principal scriptural evidence, which in turn expound the following 9 principles. So there are 10 things. What is it? The evidence is what? Scriptural evidence, Shastra Praman. And from the Shastra, there are these 9 principles. So this is called as Praman. This is Pramay. Pramay are the principles drawn from the Praman, from the Vedas. This is Praman. Praman Madhe, Shruti Praman Pradhan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells to Prakashan, among all the Pramanas, the Shruti Praman, the Upanishad, if you quote from the Upanishad, this is highest evidence. So similarly, Praman means Shastra Praman, scriptural evidence from the Vedas. And what from the Vedas we are drawing out? 9 principles. These are Pramayas, this is called. Praman and Pramaya. Altogether is 10. So we accept Vedas as evidence, highest evidence. Pratyaksh Praman is there, Anuman Praman is there, then there is Shabda Praman. Shabda is Vedas. Okay. So from the Vedas, we established what? One Pramaya, that is Krishna is the supreme absolute truth. Krishna is omnipotent. He is the fountainhead of all relationships and love. The living entities are his separated part and parcels. Jiva Tattva. The living entity, due to his constitutional situation as a marginal energy, may come under the sway of the material energy. This is the Baddha Jiva. Again, due to his marginal nature, the living entity in the liberated condition is free from the influence of material nature. This is Mukta Jiva. The living entity and everything in this material cosmos is simultaneously one and different from the Supreme Lord. Achintya Beda Bed Tattva. The living entity and the Lord's relationship, the Lord and the material world, the living entity and the material world. Achintya Beda. Then the 9th truth, but the 8th Pramaya. Pure devotional service is the living entity's occupation and means. This is sadhana. Pure love of Godhead love of Krishna is the living entity's ultimate goal. This is the sadhya. So now I am reciting this Dashamula Tattva of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. This is he composed this 10 truths in the form of a Bengali verse. Amnaya prahatatvam hari iha paramam sarvashaktima shaktim rasabdim tadbhinnamsha cha jivan prakriti kavalitan tadvimuktamscha bhavat Veda Veda Prakasham Sakalam Ape Hare Sadhanayam Shuddha Bhaktim Sadhyam Tat Pritim Eveti Upadashiti Janan Gaurachandra Swayam Sa Amnaya. The Vedas. I mentioned the first is Praman. Praman means scriptural proof. For us is the Vedas. The Vedas are the highest scriptural proof for us. This is called as Praman. And from the Vedas, we prove 9 truths, which are called as Pramaya. So, first is Amnaya Vedas. And what from the Vedas we prove that Krishna is the absolute truth. Praha Tattvam Harim Hi Paramam. Shri Krishna is the absolute truth. This is the first Pramaya. He is Sarva Shaktiman. He possesses all potencies. He is Rasabdim. He is ocean of Rasa. So, the first Pramaya is he is the absolute truth. The second Pramaya is he is Sarva Shaktiman. The third Pramaya and the fourth Dashamula Tattva is Rasabdim. The fifth is the Jivas are a separated part and parcel. And there are Baddha Jivas, there are Mukta Jivas. And there is Bheda Bheda Prakasham Sakalam Api Hari. There is a simultaneous one and difference with everything and Lord Hari. And what is the means? Sadhana. And what is the end? It is Priti, love for Godhead. Eveti Upadeshiti Janan. Certainly, this has been instructed to the people. By whom? Gaurachandra, the golden Lord whose effulgence resembles the moon. Personally, he has given these teachings. So, Gaurachandra, where did he teach this Dashamula Tattva? In Sanatana Shiksha. So again, in this chart, I'm putting these 3 truths, Sambandha, Abhidaya, Prayojan. Sambandha is the Jiva's eternal relationship with the Lord. Abhidaya is to understand this relationship and to act according to it. Prayojan is Krishna Prem, to return back to Godhead. Within these 3 things are 10 truths, Praman and 9 Pramayas. Praman means Vedas. Vedas are the highest Praman for us. And from the Vedas, we draw 9 Pramayas, 9 conclusions from the Vedas. They are called as Pramaya. Pramaya means that which is drawn from the Praman. So the first thing is Krishna is the absolute truth. He is full with all potencies. He is the ocean of Rasa. The Jivas are separated parts and parcels. There are Baddha Jivas, there are Mukta Jivas. And the 7th is there is simultaneous oneness and difference between the Jivas and the Lord and this material manifestation. So this first 7 Pramaya, they deal with Sambandha Gyan. And what is, sadhana? Sadhana is Abhidaya. 8th Pramaya is Abhidaya. And 9th Pramaya, that is Prema, is Prayojan. So 9 Pramayas, 1 Praman, all constitute 10 truths, which is called as Dasha Mula Tattva. Just like I many times give this example, in Ayurveda, there is Dashamula Arishta, very famous Ayurvedic preparation, by which taking that medicine, you destroy the disease of the body. Similarly, by understanding Dashamula Tattva, you destroy the ignorance of the soul. Destroy the ignorance of the soul. So we will stop now here. I just shot 4 minutes more. But if there is any question, I would like to answer. Any questions regarding what we discussed up till now? Any clarifications anyone has? Virendra Yadav Prabhuji, yes?
Prabhu, this 6th and 7th, what I could not This sixth and seventh prameya, no?
Okay, sixth is that the living entity is under the now Baddha Jiva because he's under the control of material energy. The seventh
Yeah.
is that the living entities, there are Mukta Jivas who are not under the control of material energy but under the control of spiritual energy.
So sixth is Baddha Jiva and seventh is Mukti Jiva.
Mukta Jiva, yeah.
Okay, okay.
We will go into it. See, here it is there. Tad Bhinnamsha. Separated part and parcels are the Jivas. That is the marginal potency. The marginal potency. Now the Jivas can be Mukta or Baddha. So that is again two truths. So who is the Mukta Jiv? Who is a Baddha Jiv? All that will be discussed in Sanatana Shiksha. Is it clear?
Okay, bro. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, so we'll stop here. Tomorrow we will continue our discussion more now directly from Chaitanya Charitamrita, and a little bit more we'll elaborate on the Dashamula Tattva so that you can understand it. Dashamula Tattva, you should have a good grasp of it. And once you know that, then only then you will be able to follow the discussion, because the discussion in Sanatana Shiksha of Mahaprabhu is not chronological. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has put it chronologically. So then you'll have to, find out, oh, this is the fifth truth, this is the fourth truth, this is the sixth truth. So like that, you'll have to find out the Mahaprabhu's teachings. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has systematically, brought it in his work. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Kaviraj Das Goswami ki jai. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki